Okay, now obviously there are two assessment one videos there already. One is an example of how I would do it, another is some instructions. So some of this might be an overlap, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want you to ask brilliant questions, okay? You cannot ask brilliant questions about this assessment task unless you have a vague idea of what it involves. So what I would recommend is start the assessment earlier rather than later. Start it, get it done, get it out of the way. It's due super early. So that it's out of the way. So I would encourage you, get started so that you can ask me some questions. And I'll give you an opportunity to ask questions on Friday, but get it started, okay? This is not designed to be super complicated. There are some things that you need to understand, that you need to know before you can do this assessment. One is that you need to understand the idea of personality. But all you need to understand is the content in the module, right? So there's a series of videos about the different personality characteristics or different personality traits. There's an overview video about the big 5 personality traits. That's all you need to know. I'm not expecting you to go beyond that, right? So you need to understand personality. You need to know your personality characteristics, which that survey will help you to do, okay? This should make gut level sense to you. Right? When you read it, you go, oh yeah, of course, I'm really, really, really high in gregariousness. I'm always the life of the party, right? So it should be fairly easy to kind of get your head around because it's you, it's a description of you. So understand personality. The next thing is you need to understand character traits. Now, the next video, I think, will guide you through that process. There's a survey that I've got a link for. Character is different from personality, but you need to understand it, okay? Because you're going to draw on those two pieces of information for assessment 1. The final thing that you need to understand, and this is my sneaky way of making sure that you get stuck into the subject, is you need to understand what the subject entails. I know that for many subjects, you can afford just to focus on the next assessment task. This subject is not one of those, right? Every subject links together. So for this assessment, you need to demonstrate that you understand what is involved in this whole subject. So what are these 4 assessment tasks? What do they require? What do the activities require? Because you're going to need to know that. Now, once you know those things, right, then you're able to complete this assessment task. So it's a video. You'll notice there that 40% of the grade is for presentation style. Now, I joke that the reason that I've got 40% of the grade for presentation style is so that I don't bore my markers to tears with horrible presentations. And that's partially true. I don't want to bore my markers to tears. I don't want to be bored watching your presentations. But really, the reason that 40% is presentation style is because you get to write a lot at university. But your success as a health practitioner will largely be based on your ability to communicate what you know in person to an individual, right? So if you cannot communicate well, then that person won't understand you, or they won't even like you, right? Because you don't communicate things clearly. So it's really important as a health practitioner that you learn to communicate creatively and engagingly. If someone cannot remember what you say, there is no point you saying it. So let's say you give someone instructions on, I don't know, wound care, right? You need them to understand why it's important to keep their wounds clean. I don't know anything about wound care, so my apologies, but you need them to understand why it's important and you need them to do certain things. If they don't remember either of those pieces of information because you bored them to tears in the way that you presented, then what was the point of you saying it in the first place? Okay, so this component of the subject is really, really important, and that's why it's got the grades. I want you to be a little bit creative, okay, so that it's memorable. There are 3 simple ways to make your presentation creative. So work out what you want to say first, okay? That's sorted. We've talked about that before. These are the things you want to say. Then think about how you want to say it. So one of the simplest ways to be creative is to tell a story. Okay, think about a time in your life where you have demonstrated that particular personality trait or character strength. Tell the story of, when I was a kid, I used to like to have all of my colored pencils in perfect order. I'm a perfectionist or whatever. Okay, stories. Doesn't have to be long, could be 1 or 2 sentences, but it's memorable. It will get you there, right? So story is the first way. The second way is just use an object, okay? Now I'm chasing around on my desk for objects. If I was talking about my ability to be creative, I might pick up, a camera and say, look, one of my character strengths is creativity, and I love to create videos, and these are the kinds of things that I've done. Now, by picking up an object, you're making that idea sticky, right? The listener is looking at that object and the idea. They may not remember the idea straight away, but they will remember that you picked up some kind of strange object, and then they'll go, why did he pick up the video camera? Oh, that's right, that guy creates videos. He's quite creative, okay? So that's a really, really easy way. It doesn't matter what the object is. It could be a camera, it could be an apple to talk about health. It could be, like, it doesn't matter, but be creative. Think about what's the idea that you're trying to present, and then what's an object that would represent that. Finally, think about the location. Okay, now this is not a great location for a video. You can see the buildings that really are ready to be torn down in the background and a bunch of posters. But, you know, there was one great example in the first time that I ran this 4 years ago, where someone was talking about their love of learning, and they just shot the video in front of the library. They also told a story about when they were a kid, they wanted to go there and got all these books. So think about what's a location that would actually capture this. The tone of the video is very much towards an individual. If you want to aim your video to a 10-year-old, that's fine. Like, if you think that's, you know, that's who you can communicate with best, go for it, you know, so long as you present those ideas. It's not, it doesn't need any references. It's just about presenting these ideas in a way that I'm going to remember. If I don't remember, what's the point? Okay, so make sure that it's creative. It's worth 40%. But it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to put on a costume. You know, you don't have to paint a picture. It's just about thinking, how can I make this memorable? You want to make a clear link between, you want to demonstrate that you understand personality and character traits. You're probably going to take 2 personality traits and one character trait. You can be the other way around, but generally I would recommend 3 in total. Show me that you understand those ideas. Okay, show me that you understand them, that you understand the content that's in the module, that you understand the concept that's there. Then make sure that you've got, you make, you know, so the structure of your presentation will be personality trait 1, personality trait 2, character strength, okay? Something like that, doesn't really matter which order. And then for each of those, you want to link it to, so you want to demonstrate that you understand it. Provide a description in your own words of what that thing is. If it's personality, you might want to say, well, you know, I'm high in gregariousness, which is one component of extroversion. I'm not quite so high in dominance, right? So show me that you understand it, and then say, what is gregariousness? And you might use a story to tell that. Then provide 2 or more connections between those personality and character traits to the requirements of the subject. Now, don't just tell me that you're going to work in a group and therefore being an extrovert is good. Okay, be specific. Show me that you've looked through the, you know, the overview of the subject. You know what's required in the assessment, and make some links there. Okay, make it really, really clear that you actually have more knowledge than you're letting on, because you're saying, okay, I know that in the reflection task, this is the kind of work that we're going to do, and my personality is going to influence it in this and this way. Now, what I'm getting you to do by applying personality and character traits to that is I'm getting you to be kind of creative, but I want you to use the information rather than just regurgitate it, okay? Regurgitating, any idiot can do that. You are not idiots, you're first year universities or second year university students. I want you to use the information that you're presenting, okay? So use it. So tell me how your personality or character is going to influence the way in which you engage with the subject. And then finally, your future career. This should be pretty straightforward for you. How does being high in openness influence the way in which you're going to be a theatre nurse? Okay, how might that have an influence? Just sit and have a think about it. This is, dare I say, use the word reflection, but this is a reflection activity. Okay, how's one going to influence the other? So for me, I am really, really high in dominance, right? High in gregariousness as well, so the other component of extroversion. But the fact that I'm really high in dominance means I kind of like to be in control. So I create subjects, you know, I'm not so much the life of the party, but if I have a role, I will lead all the time, you know. Now that can be a problem. So if I'm working on a team, I actually have to pull my head in. So you can see how I'm applying it to my workplace. In a positive and a negative way. So yes, I have this kind of urge to lead, to create things, but sometimes I actually need to pull my head in and let other people lead because I'm high in dominance. So I'm applying this idea of personality to my workplace. So have a think about that. Then you're done. So keep it simple, okay? You don't need an intro and an outro on your video unless that really, you know, kind of is part of the way that you want to be creative and that's something you love doing. Just press record and go, okay? You can do it in one shot if you want to. You can press pause and just record it in 3 shots. It doesn't have to be polished. It's a conversation between you and me. That's it. If you, what was I going to say? You are much better off recording it twice or 3 times even than writing a script. Do not script it, okay? Just dot points. Dot point the ideas, you know how to say it. I record a lot of videos and often I will record it more than once and I'll use the second recording. It's heaps quicker than editing. I don't expect any of you to edit the videos. I have no intention of editing this one. It's what you see is what you get. There's no marks in there for your ability to edit video. So I hope that that makes sense. Get it done, okay? Don't wait to get this one done. Understand personality, understand character, understand the subject, right? Those are the 3 things you need to know. Then talk about the connections, okay? Get that video done. 5 to 7 minutes, don't let it be more than 7 minutes. If it is, it's because you're faffing. You're, talking about things 3 or 4 times. Get it done. I look forward to seeing what you come up with.